This is the question of every trader, how to predict the direction of the price movement. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can do it. To answer this question, first you need to know what forces in the market are the reason of the price movement. If you can identify those forces and track their activity, so you can easily predict the direction of the price movement. One of the main reasons of the price movement in financial markets is smart money. The money that is flown in the market by institutional traders, banks, hedge funds, investment companies, or other financial entities that enter and exit the market with very large capital. Because they enter or exit the market with very large position sizes, they create significant imbalance between supply and demand in the market, and so causing the movement of the price in the market. Alright, now you may ask how you can track the smart money so you can possibly predict any considerable price movement in the market. In this video, I want to introduce two indicators that together they help you to know when the smart money is active and the price is ready to go. Just make sure you watch this video until the end and let's get started. Before I add the indicators, if you like my contents, please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Alright, as I said, we're gonna add two indicators to our chart. To add the first one, here we click on indicators and we search smart money volume index, this one, which is a new indicator from Algo Alpha. Alright, this is the indicator, and as you can see, it's added here below the chart, and the color of the candles are also changed. This indicator measures the buying interest and selling interest in the market, and this is done by comparing how the price is acting on rising volume and falling volume. So here we have an oscillator that shows whether buyers are in control or sellers and how strong the control is. It uses positive volume index and negative volume index for the base of the calculations. As you know, negative volume index is used for tracking smart money and positive volume index is used for tracking not so smart money, or in other words, the money from retail traders. But this is not all, and these are just used as a base for this indicator. Then each of them go through the calculation of exponential moving average and then RSI calculation to show the relative pressure in the market, and finally the compared values are normalized and represented here to show the buy side interest and sell side interest. Alright, before I explain how this oscillator is interpreted, I'm proud to announce that I have published a book, The Art of Price Action Trading, which is a comprehensive guide to price action analysis. The link is in the description and you can get it later if you want to master price action trading. Alright, getting back to the oscillator, here you can see that we have a line that is moving above and below the center line, which is 0. Just like the other oscillators, when the line is below the center line, the line and the area between the line and center line is red, and when the line is above the center line, the line and the area between the line and center line is green. But unlike other oscillators, we don't interpret this below the center line as downtrend or above the center line as uptrend. For example, here you can clearly see that we had advancing of the price and decline of the price, while here the oscillator was below the center line, or here in this part you can see that we had decline of the price and then advancing of the price while the oscillator was above the center line, because this line is indicating about volume, more precisely buy side interest and sell side interest in the market. So here we are actually dealing with volume, which shows interest levels in the market. So below the center line, sell side interest, and above the center line, buy side interest. And the more the line goes farther away from the center line, it can show more interest in that side. For example, here, the more that the line goes below the center line, it shows more accumulation of sell side volume, and the more the line goes above the center line, it shows more accumulation of buy side volume. We have two gray lines here, which are at 0.9 and minus 0.9. First, let's go to the settings of the indicator, and here in the style tab, we scroll down, and here we remove values in status line and also inputs in the status line, so we can better see these gray zones. So when the line gets close to the zone, it can show high level of interest in the market for that side of the market. The indicator also changes color and it becomes a lighter gray in this situation when the line is near to the gray zone. So when the line gets close to this zone, here the zone changes color to lighter gray, and this shows high accumulation of sell side interest in the market. And in this situation, the candles on the price chart are also shown with brighter red color. So when we have this situation, this shows that behind the scene we have accumulation of sell side volume in the market. In other words, the sell volume is building behind the scene and there is high probability to have considerable decline of the price after that. Similarly, when the oscillator line gets close to this zone, in this situation we have lighter gray here and the candles are also shown with brighter green color, and this situation shows that behind the scene we have accumulation of buy side volume. In other words, the buy volume is building behind the scene and there is high probability to have considerable advancing of the price after that. But you cannot trade only based on this signal. We can have this situation in trading ranges or in pullbacks, and after them just small movement of the price. The imbalance between supply and demand was created here and there was more sell side volume but not considerable. So we need to somehow avoid the signals like this and instead take the signals like this one or this one that there is higher probability for considerable price movement after them. For this purpose, we're going to add another indicator. Here we click on indicators and we search smart money breakout channels, this one, which is an editor's picks indicator and written by Algo Alpha. When you add this indicator, the indicator tries to find breakouts in the market. It identifies the time periods that the price is moving flat, and when there is a breakout, it shows the breakout signals. For example, here the price was moving flat and then we got an upside breakout, or here the price was moving flat and after that we got a downside breakout. Of course, not every breakout is a good breakout and there can also be false breakouts like this one here that we got a very small movement of the price after the breakout and then the price turned back. This indicator also considers volume in identifying flat market. As you know, during flat market usually the level of the volume, volatility, momentum is low, and actually flat markets are areas where smart money usually enters in the market. Now, by mixing these two indicators together, we can identify high probability setups where we can say with higher probability that the smart money entered in the market and there is high probability to have considerable movement of the price after them. So we're going to look for the times that we have confluence between these two indicators. For example, here you can see that this indicator is showing that selling volume is building, and at the same time you can see that this indicator is showing flat market, and then we got a breakout, a downside breakout. So during this flat market the selling volume was building, so there is high probability that the smart money was entering in the market, and then we got a downside breakout. So here we have high probability that we're gonna have considerable decline of the price. So in practice we could enter a short position at this point and make profit on this decline of the price that happened after that. Or another confluence we had here, you can see that this indicator is showing flat market, and from here this indicator is showing high levels of buy side volume. So behind the scene the buying volume is building inside the flat market, and then we got a breakout signal, upside breakout signal. After the breakout you can see that the market again went flat, but then we had advancing of the price, considerable advancing of the price after that. By the help of these two indicators, which both of them are built for identifying smart money, when we have confluence of the signals from them, we have higher probability to have considerable price movement after the signals. But please pay attention that this setup will not give you 100% win rate. No, you still encounter false signals and you need to manage your risk properly. 1% role risk management is the best risk management strategy that helps you to manage your risk and minimize the effect of losing positions. I have a complete guide on this. The link is also placed in the description and I highly recommend you to watch it now, because without a proper risk management strategy you cannot survive in this game. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions questions, feel free to ask and leave a comment for me. I'll answer your questions as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you get the notifications of my new videos. See you guys in next video and good luck with your trading.